The views and opinions of the host and guests are their own and do not necessarily reflect the position of the management and staff of Guardian Network.
You have to be strong in today's world. Keep your focus and up. You believe in how to achieve all your dreams. Keep moving forward. Never accept less than who you are. Live your best life. Be strong and free. It's the Hit Back with Nahaja Black. It's the Hit Back with Nahaja Black. It's the Hit Back with Nahaja Black.
Hit Back with Nahaja Black is sponsored by the Cancer Treatment Centers of America, BTC, Boost Academy, RX, and Nassau Motor.
Oh, this a jazz player we dealing with. Out of this. Rogue the production. People of fast one right there. Osa Palamini Paroge. People of fast one right there. Snap election, he wanna control it. People of fast one right there. Osa Palamini Paroge. People of fast one right there. On the speaker, but the speaker can hold it. He needs to take his time. It's our country that you are running, my, oh my. You say that it was the people's time. He pull a fast, son right there. Speaker of the house, he throw rogue, him out of there. People come to talk to him, say he don't want to hear. Some say that means that he really don't care. He pull a fast one right there. House of Parliament, he parogue. Okay. He pull a fast one right there. Snap election, he want to control it. He pull a fast one right there. House of Parliament, he parogue. Boy, that's a dirty move.
All right.
Right there. On the speaker, but the speaker again.
And welcome to the Hit Back with Nahaja Black. That was, of course, Solo made Solo to the Google. Always got a song. That brother is a national treasure. Can I just say that before we go any further? One of the things you have to appreciate, you have to love, is that we have some very talented artists, from KB, D-Mac, Spice to Wendy, Dyson, Sammy Starr. Solo is also one of those great artists who's a historic figure. Like he creates these capsules of history and song all the way to the previous election. I mean, the music just helps us get through the process. Shout out to Solo, who has been just helpful. You know, who could forget when BPL, the BPL song, and he did it. I'm trying to remember, what's that BPL song he did to one heck of a beat, and it went viral and people loved it. Solo is amazing, a national treasure. And wherever he is, please let him know that he is appreciated, and that if there was any award to be given out, he would definitely get a Kasich Award because of how he continues to narrate our history. And it's amazing how that history in politics or the recent events, I mean, I don't think we can even, the song that he did for when Madam Lanisha rolling the medals, come on, you can't beat these things. It's just amazing commentary. And every time you need a good song, Solo is there to give it to you. And so we appreciate Solo wherever he is for bringing light and the way to put that stamp on something that has happened in the world today. For our golden athletes, golden knights, golden girls, for Shawnee and Stevie. Who can forget the Count Dive song for Shawnee? So just a side note, because one of those things that we've missed in this whole process of governance is how impactful and how brilliant we are culturally. And I think that's something I really miss, the impact during COVID-19 culture, our expression. We haven't had John Canoe in over a year. And just the expression of culture. And so COVID has, hopefully we will one day really begin to appreciate our artists and our music and the way we tell stories and, the way we say the words that we say. Because as we come into this time now, because elections have been called, the date has been set. As we come into this time, there's nothing better than trying to figure out what will be the campaign song. As the weighty decision of deciding who will be the ones to lead us out of this economic crisis, this health crisis, this national doldrum where the morale is not as high as it needs to be. With that weighty conversation and those decisions to make, it is imperative that because of Bahamian culture, because Bahamian culture requires a laugh and a joke. Only in Bahamian culture, well, I don't know. I think all there are African cultures, because I believe that's where we get it from. That even at a funeral or a wake, we can find something to laugh at, right? Like when your auntie decides to jump in the hole, you look at her and say, well, why the hell she jumped in that hole? But buddy, 2 hours later, you see how she landed in that hole? And another aunt will say, they should have taken the shovel and cover up in it, doing, blah, fool. But our culture is we laugh at things. We take joy even in hard times. And that's what I appreciate Solo for in these times, taking joy or bringing some light to heavy things so we can sing about it, laugh about it, viral it. I mean, the times when all we could do was just laugh at weird statements, like I could use the light moment of a cowboy and warm the water in the tub, or I could use a light moment of putting your face on a medal, but now we're dealing with weightier things. Today, folks are, not here with us who were here with us yesterday. More and more of those stories. So it leads to this. This morning, and a hello to everyone who's watching online, to everyone who's listening in your car, to the good security guard there at St. John's who said hello to me, to everyone who loves and hates, but still you're here. Thank you for the time. I know you could be doing tons of other things, but you're here with us on the Hit Back with Nahaja, Black Guardian Radio, 96.9 FM. So enough of that. Let's go to what happened today. Well, of course, one of the things that I think is fantastic, and I got a text, and I think I might need to read this text. For the record, Solo will be on Aaron Green's show tomorrow morning. My girl, Aaron Green. Can I say just a side note? Side note. Sorry. This is one of those days where I need to do a lot of things that I feel like I haven't done because now we're shifting gears. Now we're shifting gears, right? But before I do that, can I say how much I enjoy my girl, Aaron Green and Lee Van Miller's, their shows on the station? It's different. It's fresh. And I love Erin Green's cadence, the way she could tell a story. I wonder if Erin ever tells like one of them Bookie and Barabi stories. I figure she got the flow. But tomorrow morning, anyway, she will have Solo on the show. So I'll be tuned in, plugged in. Solo's awesome. All right. So now we are in a different space and time, y'all. Listen up. Different space and time. Election date set for September 16th, 2021. This morning, we were awoken to a letter that was said to me existed. Now, yesterday afternoon, but these things, a lot of people say stuff, A lot of people say stuff. Yesterday afternoon, around about before 2 o'clock. Before 2 o'clock in the announcement, I was told this date, this time, but I'm like, yeah. I'm about to say everything. I'm not moved by anything anymore. Everybody thinks they could break news, so I'm not moved. But sure enough, we get the announcement. I was told that some folks knew, 4 o'clock in the morning, that they're getting covered in prayer. This is a big decision. And so we get the letter this morning that has gone viral. So nothing is sacred. Don't think anything is confidential in the Bahamas. Just assume that whatever you say, write, type, text, however you lay, it can get out. I'm now to that place. I don't trust voice notes. I digress. So the letter is out. We see the Prime Minister's signature. Now the whole country. My phone's blowing up. I'm asleep. My phone's blowing up. Is this true? Is it legit? Is it fake? But ladies and gentlemen, we all know it is legitimate. The Provost Marshal, that is the Commissioner of Police, Paul Roll, said his piece, the declaration, the proclamation, there at Parliament Square, announcing that the House will be dissolved. That the next session will be October 6th, 2021. Curiously, there was no announcement of a date for election. However, obviously now we learned quickly thereafter, there was an 11 o'clock press conference. The Prime Minister wished himself to tell us that elections will be for September 16th. I will say this. I appreciated his speech. Because the speech actually said what I think was important to say. The people there's a new mandate afoot. governing under this. I honestly, I don't know if it was really about us. Maybe there were outside pressures. Others speculate that lending agencies have said you need a new mandate. We need to make sure. That is what is being said to me in some circles. I cannot confirm or deny those, but it is plausible that that is one of those major issues that has taken effect. But we do know that the Bahamian people and Clarion Calls, and in particular myself, have said, no, we need a reset. We need a mandate. This is not working the way business is being handled. So I appreciate that. People need to decide to lead them out of the valley of the shadow. Ladies and gentlemen, God knows we ain't sure. Okay, a lot of us feel like, but we sure. Okay, this is a real time, and this is very similar. Oh my God, I can tell you, I could go back 5 years, 4 years, go back to the last election. How I feel like this is deja vu. We doing this again. Where a lot of them say they're undecided, but we'll see how this sways. It needed to happen, right? It needed to happen, and I think that's what is so important. That this process now begins. Why is it important that we move forward? Because, ladies and gentlemen, right now the trust deficit, to me, in my opinion, from what I'm getting from my friends who are not political at all, who they just hate everybody. They don't believe anyone can take us out of this. This process that we're in, when we're looking at a health crisis, when we're looking at a financial crisis in this country, morale is low. Unions are rejecting leadership. I mean, just this morning, I was told yesterday BPL would strike or do an industrial action this morning, and I was told that, and sure enough, they did. And this is a continuation. Whilst nurses in the hospital is still on a go slow, whilst doctors are contemplating walking away, the administration that is at present has lost a mandate. And so there was nothing left to do. There was nothing left to do. I mean, you could keep going and just continue with more ire of the people. But what's next? And interestingly enough, someone said, interestingly enough, for the record, here's a side note. We know when the next election date will be, but we still don't know how our children are going to go to school in August, right? August 30th, but So, yeah, I digress. We still don't know, but I mean, they said are we still doing face-to-face virtual? I don't know. Anyway, so someone says this is definitely a distraction from the health crisis. I don't think it is. It can't be a distraction from the health crisis, right? Why I say can't be? Because Long Islanders are asking for help. Long Islanders are saying, we have people who are being tested, are barely being tested, and I think it's because of the issue of having sufficient tests, but that there's no contact tracing. No one is tracing and ensuring that our people are being connected. Long Islanders are being flown in. Folks are saying they know 2 and 3 and 4 people who are dying at a time. You can't distract from something that's ever present. This health crisis is ever present. What is also present is that we seem to not have any handle on it, right? So someone says, I found myself in deep thought, and in conclusion, I voted for Minnis. Well, and that is good. And this is what we're going to be doing. See, this whole process is about what do we want to happen for the next 5 years? Who do we believe can get us out of this strait? And we have to go through all of the parties. And once this is done, ladies and gentlemen, you can't row right away. You got to give the next government 6 months to see how they behave. Now they say 100 days. Ain't nothing happened in 100 days for us. I still waiting on things to come through government processes 120 days later. So I really don't believe in the 100 days. That's a U.S. mechanism. But let's see if we give them some time. There's a short honeymoon. Let's see how they turn things around. No more than 6 months, and then you can jump and start rowing. But if the Free National Movement then finds himself again victorious, what is their mandate? What will we be voting for? For the PLP, what will be their mandate? What are they coming to us with? Right? Will the DNA, what are they coming to us with? Okay, who else? You got the FNM, PLP, DNA. You got the KGM. You've got the Coalition of Independence. You've got the BDM. You've got the Bahamas Constitution Party. I feel like I'm missing like 16 others, but that's as far as I can go in memory. Who else? Who else am I missing? But it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter, not on who else. What matters is that we go through this process now. The exciting part is after 30 days, it's a reset. It's a reset. We now have to believe on whatever these parties are selling us that they can accomplish. And you have to believe that whatever you're buying, you're actually going to get. Because we've been sold a lot of things over the past 40 years, you know. Each party sells us a story. Each party sells us promises. Each one woos us good in the initial mating process. And then when they put a ring on it, you realize they're abusive. When they put a ring on it, you realize they see in 2 and 3 other people. When you put a ring on it and you commit to this 5-year relationship, you find out that you ain't their mean squeeze. You were just the one who had a house. You were just the one who would afford to pay their bills. But they were actually out dealing with someone else, out west, out east, however it go. So we fund these parties and their dreams, their personal endeavors. But when do they come and start funding us and do something exciting, man? Y'all ain't tired of the same? You know, are we not tired of the same opaque, ideas, the same promises? I need something, man. I need something that's different and exciting and new. And something that's just not exciting and new, but can we trust whomever is coming in the worst economic and health time in the history of the Commonwealth of the Bahamas has an idea, not just an idea, but actual strategic plans, who can give you goalposts and guidelines and tell you strategically, this is what we're expecting to see when we implement A, B, and C. This is the returns we're expecting from A, B, and C, because they could connect to the collective picture of the vision, right? And these are expected to happen by week 10 or by month 22 or this. We need to know these things. Well, we've never been given. We've been given promises, but no real results are oriented. And we're going to go through this because we have to be people who are cognizant, fully aware, and transparent of what is going on, right? We need to know what this administration actually did that's good. I remember the last election. We got so caught up in building these lies, right? Someone says, stop Nahaja, you're doing the devil's work. Lincoln, Bain, and Coy is the only real change. Lincoln and Coy, y'all need to make sure all your numbers line up. Listen, I understand energy. I understand emotion, but everything got to make sense. I can't go to sleep on emotion because you could be in love with someone today and you're out of love tomorrow. Boo. I don't want emotion. I need a full-on commitment where we have realistic set goals. There's soulmates and life partners. Soulmates are fiery, man. They come in with all sort of emotion. They come in hot and heavy. You feel like you never touched heaven the way you touched it with a soulmate, but they fizzle as quickly as they show up. Most times, 9 out of 10, there are exceptions. But life partners understand that every day ain't going to be fire. Every day ain't going to be great. But we have mutual designs, mutual plans and goals, and we're going to ride and die with it together. Every day ain't going to be spicy. I don't need spice. I don't need all that emotion. I don't need you to, yeah, I get it. But you know what after all of that emotion? Give me the real numbers. Show me the real numbers and facts. Now, because y'all know as usual, with the little bit of school I got, I like to talk about the economy, the little bit of school I got. I ready. I want to see stuff. I ask questions. I ain't moved much by emotion no more. That was when I was young. You could have sweet talk me when I was younger. You could have sweet talk me the first 2 times I vote. I don't know about that now, especially after this last group. And they didn't even sweet talk me. I was just going through it like when you're so broken. I mean, my God, they could have put garbage juice in it. Never mind. That didn't sound right. But I was going through. Now, I'm a brand new woman. We have to be people who are looking for more than energy. I don't need just energy. I need to know we are in the most. Hear me. This is what I need us to get. And this is what I need us to get. We are in the most crucial time ever in the history of the Bahamas. The most crucial time. No slapping up, no jokes, no guessing, no hoping and praying and wishing. People got to come. I don't care how cute you are. I don't care how eloquent you are anymore. I need for us to see comprehensive plans. No more rhetoric and spin and talk and cycle. Nah, we need real plans. Tell me, and you know what I can't stand when these parties say, when parties say, well, I can't tell the plans, because they could steal my plan. Negro, who you think? I want to hear your plan. I'm the voter. You worried about them? You worried about the other party? I am the party of interest for you. When you come to my door, if you come to Elizabeth Estates, what you gonna tell my mommy in Elizabeth Estates? Huh? Shootout in Camp Rose, shootout in Elizabeth Estates, people getting robbed, even MPs. We even had an acting prime minister one time get robbed. I digress. Anyways, we have a crime issue in the midst of a financial issue, in the midst of a health issue. I don't want no more energy. I listen, y'all could march all y'all want. Nah, I done tired of that. It hot. What we need to know is how to keep the power on. What I need to know is, do we have a leader that's empathetic? Do we have a leader that consults? Do we have a leader who sees vision and understands that no vision can be accomplished unless the people around him are respected, him or her are respected, are heard? No more of this ultimate power. None of that. I want to see if you got a leader with cojones who can say on day one, I believe in us so much that I'm going to make sure that there are term limits. I believe in us so much, I'm going to ensure that you can recall your MP. I believe in us so much that I'm going to ensure that young people and children and education is important and shown to work and be valued. We still got too many special interests controlling the narrative in our country. Show me a party that is willing to break away from special interests. Now, politics is always about bedfellows, big countries, small countries, well-developed countries, corrupt countries, third world countries, first world, doesn't matter. There's always special interests. There's no denying it. You can't get away from it. There's always special interests. The problem I have is when leadership sees the need to feed the special interests. Get them fat, right? Because they paid the bill. And have us starving. And when you give us some trinkets, when you give us a little bit of, you know what it is now when politicians say, I fixed the street light. Huh? Street light, don't put that in your report. Don't you put that in your report of what you did good. I don't want to hear it. So we have this period here. We have in this particular period in this cycle. As we go to break and I have a bunch of guests now. This cycle and for this election year, please let us not be caught up in emotions. There's going to be a lot of campaigning, highs and lows, emotional roller coaster. There are going to be a lot of things where people are going to try and give you lies. I tell you, the amount of energy and roller coaster ride that went on last election, it taught me a lot. It taught me a lot. And this time, I promise I ain't going to be on that emotional roller coaster. We are going to have to be people who are looking for real, cogent leadership answers and vision. When we come back, we got a few guests today, right? We've got DNA rep chairman joining us, Derek Smith, to give us their thoughts. Then we got the BCP leader giving us their thought, independent candidate Reese Chipman. Now I got to hear everybody. Now everybody getting the platform on the show. Hit back with Nahaja Black, just going to say everybody come. Because you know why? We got to get some information. I got to make sure everybody knows what they're doing. Plus, we're going to constantly be making sure that information is shared with you on how, where, and all of the voting issues there that you may have. It's going to be very interesting. You're listening to the Hit Back with Nahaja Black, Guardian Radio. We'll be back right after.
unlimited mobile experience with BTC, giving you
unlimited talk for the best conversations, unlimited data for all your online fun,
and unlimited roaming to stay connected while overseas.
For just $50 per line.
Unlock unlimited mobile talk, data, and roaming when you sign up for BTC Superfast Fiber Internet with speed starting at 100 megabits per second. Enjoy more great savings and value. Upgrade or sign up today. Visit any BTC store or btcbahamas.com. Conditions apply.
Many people wonder, what makes Boost Academy unique? Maybe it's our 8-to-1 student-staff ratio, the emphasis we place on student individuality, our focus on numeracy, literacy, and creating better citizens by sharpening students' critical thinking skills. One of our many talented teachers, program facilitators, and mentors. Or just maybe it is our commitment to taking full responsibility for your child's education. No hidden fees or costs. Regardless of what it is, let us help your child reach their full potential. Boost Academy is currently enrolling students of grades 4 through 12. Visit www.boostbahamas.com to apply now.
When I had got prostate cancer, my family didn't know if I was going to live. At Cancer Treatment Centers of America, within days, I got an appointment. They presented me with treatment options, and we set up a robotic prostatectomy. When my scans came back, there are no signs of cancer. They don't see you as a number, they see you as a part of the family. I'm going on with my life. That's a real gift.
Call us at Cancer Treatment Centers of America.
This is Guardian Radio, 96.9 FM, Nassau, Bahamas.
It's the Hit Back with Nahaja Black. It's the Hit Back with Nahaja Black. It's the Hit Back with Nahaja Black.
And we're back. You're listening to the Hit Back with Nahaja Black. This is the show post the announcement. The Prime Minister's called the election. The House is officially dissolved. Yesterday's shenanigans has led to what was the inevitable. We don't know why it took so long, but it did. It did, and we are here today. We got a few guests on the show. Now it's time. It's time now. Before, it was always time to tell people your party's thoughts, where you're going, how you're going to lead us out of the doldrum, and also to respond to what has happened today. Are these parties ready to go? And I have to get Coalition of Independents, some of their persons on the show very soon. So we can connect that dot for me. Anyone who wants to connect me, let me know. But we have joining me right now, Mr. Derek Smith, National Chairman for the Democratic National Alliance. And we have to unmute you, Derek, and I'll make sure that you're nice and in good stead. It's a pleasure to have you.
It's a pleasure being here, Ms. Black.
Well, listen, Derek, first of all, how did you guys take the news today? The DNA, are you ready to go to start this campaign?
Well, the DNA is like what you call a good boy scout, ready or not, or be prepared. Let's put it that way. In fact, no longer than last night, we had a meeting and we saw all of the different shenanigans that was going on regarding the House, whether it is prorogued or whether it's dissolved. And I said something to the party members, the candidates. We had a candidates meeting last night, and I said, listen, that man, speaking about the PM, I said, that man, there's no truth in him. I don't care what he says. There is no truth in that man. I said, he might say the 22nd, speaking about Parliament reopening, but remember, from past records, no truth in that man. I would not be surprised that man does not call an election before then. So said, so done, because that's his heart. The man is a liar. I did not say...
Hold on, now, mind you, you can say he shared some untruths, but you can't call the good Prime Minister a liar. Definitely not on the show. So I would caution you.
Well, would you want me to use another word, embellishing the truth? I mean,
that's fine. I can do that. You can embellish. We don't call people liars.
Okay. Well, I mean, we can dress up things and, like you said,
dress it up. That's fine. Dress it up. But we can't don't call my good Prime Minister a liar.
Okay, you can call him, say he embellished the truth, but I mean, the truth is the truth. And if you're not speaking the truth, you know what we call it? 3-letter word, L-I-E. I wouldn't call him then, I say L-I-E, but that's exactly what it is. Come on, no slopping up.
So they say dishonest. All right, so I like you, Derek. I think no slopping up. So let's go to this then. Now you're ready. You say you're ready day one, right? Of course, the field, Derek Smith, national chairman of the Democratic National Alliance, joining us on the show.
And also the candidate, by the way, for Garden Hills constituency. That's a new, but nevertheless, Garden Hills constituency. Yes, ma'am.
Oh, that's big. Well, of course, the people of Garden Hills need to know you're their man, right? So that's great.
Yes,
Garden Hills constituency candidate as well for the Democratic National Alliance, joining us on the show. Okay, so now, as the chairman, and she said your piece for sure. He embellished. But in terms of being ready, the Bahamian people are looking for options now. I can tell you, Derek, in my circle, a lot of my friends, professionals, have no idea what they're doing this election. We're all the same. We really, my voice is just loud on radio, but theirs is loud in the group. We don't know what we're going to do. Why should the Bahamian people choose the Democratic National Alliance?
Well, Ms. Black, I heard you giving the description. I was listening in on your show, and I heard you describing a party. You said you don't want anyone no slapping up, like you said. Mm-hmm. You said you needed someone that is basically consistent. You needed someone that you can basically trust. But I sat here and I felt very comfortable because all of the different adverbs and adjectives that you were actually giving, I felt very comfortable. I said, that is our party, so I don't really need to think about it. The truth never changes, and that's why I feel so comfortable that the things that you were actually looking for and that you were expressing on your show, and I know that you're a serious person, I see that, I find them in the DNA. You don't have to look far, but I could understand the perception that a lot of Bahamians are actually in doubt, because I've been speaking to the voters, and as I've been out there, I see that many Bahamians are so discouraged. I've never seen it, and that is sad. But I say to Bahamian people, you know what? If you're discouraged, this is the time that you really need to dig in and vote for the difference of your country. I'm in this. I have five kids, and I'm not into this for my pleasure. You might not know this, but I am the person. We don't broadcast this. Behind the DNA, we have candidates that are very, very capable in the area of healthcare, in the area of energy. There's nothing new that any party that is basically coming out here and actually saying, whether it's those other parties. You go and you check the mandate. The DNA has been consistently from, I would say, 2012. You know why it's still relevant today? Because we still need energy, more affordable energy. We still need better healthcare. We still need better education than a D average. These are the things that we need. Food to be cheap. I am the person's that whole idea of BAMSI. That is my concept, but I never went and campaigned on that because I know what the DNA actually has. Okay, my name is Derek Smith. I'm the Joseph Project person. That whole concept. In fact, they undermined it and they made it for less than what it was. The whole idea and dream, like I said, was supposed to be what I call an agribusiness, industrial, technological city. And those concepts, we have those individuals with those ventures. So yes, we are ready. The DNA is more than ready. And what you were looking for, those characteristics that you were looking for in the party has been stable since that time. Have we had differences? Yes. But in any organization, my mother said, teeth would meet tongue because you same space. But guess what? God sought your friends. I really believe that. Those persons who might not be with us, they're not supposed to go to the promised land with us. But we have to take the nation. Yes, ma'am.
And I'm happy you brought that up because I think that's someone I saw a comment of that similar nature, where the concern is stability, leadership, and even has the party grown? Right? Has the party grown? Have you seen growth with the party in these past 4 years? Are you ready to govern day one, even with all of your candidates? And so those are some of the concerns people have.
Yes, ma'am. I would say that we are ready to govern from day one. We're not new at this. The other parties, some of them might be new, but the DNA, we have consistency in the fact that from 2012, we've consistently been growing. And I know there were circumstances. Some people say, oh, well, you lost numbers. Well, we have also gained numbers. And this election will actually prove that. We've lost numbers because people were afraid a vote for the DNA would have taken away from the FNM. And that is the truth. That may be the truth. But it's about time that Bahamians grow up and realize that, you know what, you cannot want difference and vote for the same party. The PLP and the FNM, they are exactly the same. There is no difference in them. And you can prove
and
that.
And you guys are different. And you guys are different. You guys are different how?
Our difference is that, number one, I will even begin with myself. I love people. If you ask me anything about me, that's me. I love people. My leader loves people. Not only that, but you find another leader that has a better vision, and can relate that vision. I'm not just talking about talk. I'm talking about it's there, practical, line by line, concept upon precept. Find a better leader. And that is why every major party leader has stayed away from that debate, because nobody wants to face that little woman. But behind that woman, there are men. There are other men and other women that we have confidence. I love my country, Miss Black. I love my country, and no one can tell me otherwise. I think I know what is good for my country, because the same heart that I have for my country, I see in my leader and I see in my party members. We're not perfect. And not only that, but we are willing that what we do not have as a party, we are willing to reach out to those parties and other individuals who would want to engage and make our country a better. We're not the end it all and the be it all, because we have a spiritual problem even as a country. And as a result of that, we have some economic problems and we have some social problems. But the fact is, if you're talking about stability, now is the time. Listen to me. You said this is a very crucial election. Now is the time.
And forgive me for interrupting, because see, for me, forgive me, I hear political rhetoric in a way, right? That is everyone says, oh, we're going to be different, we're going to be better. We are ready day one. But I'm going to ask you some questions, hopefully. And if we need to do this again, and you need to bring for folks who can answer these questions. But the most vital thing is that right now, any government in 30 days, all right, we're August, so say 6 weeks max, right? Not even that long, 5 weeks. We'll be taking on a country that has themselves in a debt spiral, that is finding that its reserve, though high, is really borrowed reserve, right? That we got to fuel that, where our growth is still not where 2019 was charted to be, or where 2019 was. We have strikes, industrial unrest, sick leave, a pandemic that above all else is leading the way in this country. Folks want to know, what is the DNA's plan to bring some semblance of order? What can we expect from the DNA in the first few months? What is the plan? How are we getting out of this doldrum?
You said something about debt. When it comes down to finance, in the area of finance, I think we have a leader, the leader herself. She's very experienced in finance. In fact, one of the best financial minds in this country. And I think a lot of people do realize that when she comes, she does not say, but she knows the facts, she knows finance, she understands it. We understand that debt is, debt is there. But the problem is the PLP and the FNM have been living on debt. What the DNA intend to do is not necessarily the debt. We have debt, we have good debt in the sense that we must see why our tax dollars are being paid, how they're being spent. And we are proponents of job creation. We know that tourism is there, but we're not going to kill that goose. We don't need to kill the goose to find another pig to slaughter. And so our thing is job creation in terms of new energy, food. That is my.
How are you going to deal with this pandemic? Right now, we got staff that are going to that are still saying they need to get paid. That are still saying that they, are being disrespected. How are you? And people are still dying. What is the DNA's plan on dealing with this pandemic?
Well, we have a person in our staff, Dr. Camille. She's running for the Mount Moriah constituency, very well versed. And I heard the Prime Minister said something about, okay, bush medicine does not work. Trust me, a lot of people have been surviving off that bush medicine. We're talking about better health. We believe in prevention. I think our lifestyles definitely have to change. You know, the situation that exists now, it's there. You have to spend money on it. You have to correct it. Now, from the time I was a kid, and even growing up, I always said, oh, there are not enough beds in the hospital. That's the PLP, that's there for them, and that's a continuous thing. We need to emphasize better lifestyle to even start off with. What we have, you need to pay those nurses, you need to pay those doctors. They're everyday persons, they're working. The laborer is worthy of his hire. But the DNA is into job creation. Bahamians are bright. You know about the orange economy, the blue economy, our resources. Listen, I have nothing against the Aragonite. The only thing I have against the Aragonite is that I know the numbers can work, but that's only one industry. But what we need to do is make the resources of the Bahamas, make them the Bahamians' resources. We have a wonderful country. Everyone is flooding here. If they can find solutions, they come from abroad. Why can't we as Bahamians, why can't we find the solution for ourselves, for our people? We need to sustain our people and maintain our people, make sure that Bahamians have ownership. There's not one hotel in the Bahamas that is owned by a Bahamian, major hotel. All of this sell-off, we need to stop that. Like I said,
we're going to do, we definitely got to go, but we will have to do this longer, of course, get more details, because folks want details now. And really wanting to know, is there a 5-point plan, 10-point plan to deal with this pandemic, to get people healthy and back to work? And how do we, in the same vein, deal with the economy? These are big things. These are big things. And we need big answers. So I thank you, though. I appreciate you, Derek Smith, National Chairman for the DNA and candidate for Garden Hills.
That's correct, Garden Hills. And all I like to say to the Bahamian people, listen, your time is short. You have one chance to make the right decision. The decision that you need to make is right there. Find the lighthouse, you find the light. Thank you so much, Nahaja Black, and appreciate all that you and the press do for the Bahamian people. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you so much. All right, that's the Derek Smith, National Chairman, right? So I think, listen, and as we go through this, what we need and what we're looking for, and you know what, I only asked each group for 50 and 20 minutes, and we're going to have BPC chair, right, joining us, not chair, BPC leader, Bahamas Constitution Party leader, Ali McIntosh joining us. I need my producer to let me know if there's still a caller on the line, and then we'll go from there. But I have Ali McIntosh joining us. Before I bring her on, I want to just double check to see if we have a caller on the line. If not, then we can move forward. But this is where it's interesting. We're going to be a discerning people, and really go through each party, because each party, okay, good, we still have the caller. Let's get the callers. Each party needs our attention to see. And I don't want us to negate parties because of size. This is content. Now, you got to have a party that could fill up the whole house, though. I mean, you got to have all your constituents, but let's see what's going on. We got a caller. Caller, you're on the hit back. Welcome.
Good afternoon, Nahaja.
Good afternoon. How are you?
I'm fine, thank you. I am finally excited the Prime Minister rang the bell, so we could get on with our country.
Yes.
I just I'm not going to beat up the DNA, okay? But I am more disappointed in them because this time now is supposed to be their time, for some reason. I feel like by now they should have already gotten a chance. And I feel like this would have really been their time. But for some reason, it's like they just ain't reaching the people. I don't know their style of campaigning or their style of trying to gain, I don't know what it is they're not doing right. But they can't be doing something right, because for one, I don't even see them. When do they campaign? I never see one of them in the community. Judge to my door. I don't even know. I just hear the gentleman say something about Mount Moriah. I don't know who is running for Mount Moriah. I have never seen a shirt nowhere in this country campaigning. So I'm wondering, do they campaign? How do they campaign?
And let me ask you, before I let you go, what constituency are you in?
I live in Mount Moriah. I heard mention Mount Moriah just now, but I'm not just talking this time. I'm talking from the time, from Granville McCartney's time. I don't know them other than hearing them on the radio, and seeing them on Facebook and so forth. But that ain't mainly what I call for, right? What I wanted to say is, we have the PLP. We have the PLP, we have the FNM. I want him in this time to go into this election sober-minded.
Yes.
There was a talk, you remember, Nahaja, when Perry Christie was coming in, when person said, oh, he's lazy and he's slow and he ain't. And just as they talk it, that's exactly how it was. I don't know if you could recall that.
I recall.
Same way. Minutes the same way. They say, oh, minutes don't talk to no one. Minutes don't listen to nobody. Just as he get in, the same way. Am I right so far? And
keep going.
People, oh, he come in here and know nothing. This one can take advantage of. I just want people to think. Because guess what? When you say these things, just as you said, that's exactly what we live to expect.
Yeah.
We live to expect it. So we have to go into this election with a conscious mind and do the right thing, man. Don't just be all hot up and excited to get rid of this one, to put this one in, without being cautious. The DNA might have stand a chance, but to be honest, they're like a foreign people. Like they are people, right? We know them Bahamian, but they just distant. Like they just,
I feel you on that. I feel you.
Like they want it, but don't know how to get it.
Yeah.
That's just my take on them. I just hoping that would have changed for them, though, because I don't have nothing against them. I listen to the leader. I love what she say. She is a woman. I always think woman could. Nahaja, why you don't run one of these times, man? I think woman could be a prime minister and run this country, because I always believe women could do a far better job than a male. And I hope one day we do give women that chance. So
Thank you so much, Paula. I appreciate you. And hopefully you start seeing some green shirts in but they only can move 5 at a time, right? You move 5 at a time?
That ain't
so
happening. Trust me. They can move 5 at a time in different locations, different areas.
Thank you. I appreciate you. Thanks so much.
All right.
We have another call on the line. Caller, you're on the hit back. Welcome.
Hi, Nahaja. How are you doing?
I'm doing well, and you? This is my good friend.
Awesome. This is Chef. I'm calling it just to congratulate my national chairman for the Democratic National presentation that he has given on your show this afternoon. The unfortunate thing that a lot of Bahamians have to understand, I listened to the previous caller. Campaigning in this current environment has not been kind to any political party, in particular the Democratic National Alliance. We understand that basically we are the underdogs in this electoral season. And because of the inability to get on the grounds, basically due to all of the emergency orders and so on and so forth, it has played against us to a point. Now, the Democratic National Alliance have been very effective. We get our messages out in the public domain through radio, through Facebook, online, the chat groups, and so on and so forth. So it is very disingenuous. I'm not saying that the previous caller made any indication of this, but it's very disingenuous to hear sometimes the commentary where it says that persons are not hearing from the DNA at all. It is like I said, it is very difficult to get your messaging out there if it comes down to just get on the ground campaigning. We are hoping with the last few days that we do have prior to this election that's coming up September 16th, I think is the proposed date. I think this is this short period of time is the only time that some of us may be able to hit on some of the doors that we were unable to get to prior to this whole thing going down. So I just want to put that message out there. The DNA is very much alive. This organization is moving from strength to strength, and we hope to still knock on some doors before the election bell, the final election date does come around.
Yeah. And
South Beach in particular.
One of the things, sorry, Jeff, just to say, beginning, we have to go to break, but I'll say this. one of the things that I want parties to understand is you're winning people. And so if the people, if someone is saying, I don't feel you, I know you're saying, okay, well, you know what, but we're there. Then you have to ask the other question, though. How can you feel us? What can we do to help you feel our presence? I don't like, and I find that this is our culture. When a market tells you something, we tell the market that isn't how you should think. Now you should go into, if we're trying to get people to buy the product, you ask this is like having your what do you call it? Your market research, when they have the test group. You get your test group and you ask the test group what they think about the party. What does the party need to do to get your vote? Have different ages in that group. And then use that data to help you execute your plan and your goal. The message is different for different people. And I as someone who is a voter, I vote. I ain't running nowhere. I vote. I vote for the changes I want to see for my children. And I know we got to go to break. My whole thing is, I don't need to bend to you. You need to bend to me. You're trying to get the job. So how do you get the job? And that's all it is. I think many Bamans are like, at this point, I want, and when someone calls and say, hey, I am feeling you, some people might be political, mind you, and not everybody you listen to. I know that. But I find out where you guys rank. I figure it's expensive. Do your market and your data research and figure out where you are in the polling from your own research. And then ask the question, how do we gain ground in this polling? What do we need to do? The PLP knew last election that Perry Christie was the problem. This administration, I'm sure they know, maybe Dr. Minnis is the problem. The present PLP, I don't know if they did any market research. Is Brave Davis the problem? We don't know, but I'm sure they're doing the data. Jeff, thank you so much for the call, though. I got to go to break. When we come back, we're going to have BCP leader Ali McIntosh joining us. You're listening to the Hit Back with Nahaja Black, Guardian Radio 96.9 FM. We'll be back right after.
This is Guardian Radio 96.9 FM. Fresh news, smart talk, all day.
It's the Hit Back with Nahaja Black. It's the Hit Back with Nahaja Black. It's the Hit Back with Nahaja Black. It's the Hit Back with Nahaja Black.
And we're back. You're listening to the Hit Back with Nahaja Black, Guardian Radio 96.9 FM. I tell you, we live in some interesting times. I swear to you, it's definitely interesting time and space. Ali McIntosh, the leader of the Bahamas Constitution Party, I see her. She stepped away, so she'll be joining us soon. Just as a note, we are in interesting times. I've said it before. Of course, the elections have now been called. We are now waiting, going through. September 16th is the election date. Today is the 19th. And we will be a month away from putting our thumb in the ink and casting our vote, deciding with that ballot who will govern us next through some perilous times, the most perilous for us, life and limb. Literally, we're losing lives in this pandemic. Money is an issue in this pandemic. So there are challenges through this process. We will have to determine in this process also the level of our skepticism on so many things. And I find that because of how social media and how we're inundated with information, it has created a level of skepticism. And it can be all good and well, especially if you've proven something. But a lot of things are based on hearsay from people who give you you'll never play the gossip game. The gossip game, as soon as you start at the line, at top of the line, by the time it gets to you, it's a whole different story. Why don't we believe that with things that are shared? Be mindful of where we are and the times we're in. But I've got joining me, though, Ali McIntosh. She says servant leader of the Bahamas Constitution Party. And Ali, unmute your mic there. You're muted there, so let's get you on board. Ali, thank you so much for joining me. It's a pleasure to have you on the show again.
Thank you so much for having me today. It's a very busy day, as you may know. So, but I always take time out for you, Nahaja Black.
Listen, I appreciate you, Ali. And the reason why I wanted you on today was twofold. One, your reaction to the events of yesterday and today as a party leader. And two, to find out, are you ready? It's time to go. It's go time now. The people want to know that we are ready day one. Tell us a bit about your reaction, what you thought about this process, and are you, Bahamas Constitution Party, are you ready to go day one?
Well, this is regarding the yesterday. Yesterday was a very interesting day. I was a little disappointed in terms of how the Prime Minister handled all of the notices that he thought to give the Bahamian people regarding the election. I felt a little bit slighted that we would govern in the way he has governed and how he has handled reporting to the people regarding this election. The Prime Minister campaigned on transparency, accountability. He campaigned on a fixed election date, yet he did the total opposite in regards to handling this. And so I feel disappointed in him. Nonetheless, it is something to cross off on his list in which he will be voted out of office on that. And so I do believe, in terms of yesterday, what I feel disappointed too is that they sent out an announcement yesterday afternoon at 2 o'clock when, as you said, and other persons like I did know that that letter that was circulating this morning was sent out long prior to 2 o'clock, which means why would the Prime Minister ask the Commissioner of Police, both constitutional office, to read a statement which he knows not to be true? And that's why I feel that as we go forward, I will provide for the Bahamian people constitutionally why this Prime Minister should not renominate for office in this country.
Yeah.
But as of today, I am glad that he has called the election. We will have 28 days in which to formulate not only a team, but to be ready to govern. The Bahamas Constitution Party has been ready. We have been talking to all of the partners, all of the people who are possible partners in a collaboration, a partnership for governance. We know that in the next few weeks, days, if you know what my morning was like, for the next couple of days, we are going to be in major negotiations to solidify that team. And so we are ready to lead a partnership for governance. We've always been there. We provide the mandate. We are providing the vision on our website, bcpparty.org. Since April, we released a blueprint as to how we will govern. Our team is there. In addition to that team, we have a lot of persons that we have already talked to that will be part of the governance, even though they are not in frontline politics, that we can and will appoint people who've been in reserve and will be ready for us to form a government come September 16th or after September 16th.
So you will have your 39 candidates come election
in collaboration with other partners. There are some people we will endorse in terms of their place. Some might be independent candidates. In other place, mostly those other third parties. Some of them only have 2 and 3 candidates, and some of them may have 4.
So you're creating your own coalition, then, Ali?
We announced since about April or May, might have been May, early in the summer, that we are calling for a partnership for governance. The reason we set out to only leave, I think it was 17 or 18 candidates we had declared, that because we were talking to everyone. We did not want to just say we have 39 if we are actually talking to people. Part of talking in good faith means you must do just that. You must leave the space for the conversation. And so that is what the Bahamas Constitution Party has done. We've been talking to persons as candidates. We've left them as reserve so that when we get to the point of solidifying a collaborative team for a partnership for governance, it will be with the good faith that people still are allowed from other parties to come on in to this partnership to govern the Bahamian people.
Let me ask you, Ali, The big question and big concern, like I've said, right now, the Bahamian people, we are in a health crisis, a financial crisis, a social, economic, all of this thing together. What is BCP's plan for health care for the pandemic? And do we have something that is really formalized, easy for people to digest at this moment? What is BCP's plan to deal with COVID-19 and the healthcare system?
I am glad you asked that, but we do want people to go online our website, bcpparty.org. Our blueprint for governance, the button is on the front page. And when you go there, you will find out that one of the bigger picture of the healthcare system, the Bahamas Constitution Party will not have a Ministry of Health, but a Ministry of Health and Wellness, which means we are going to explore all avenues for health and wellness of the Bahamian people. One of our bigger plans is that new hospitals has to be built almost immediately. Hospitals in Nassau, in Grand Bahama. We know that there are issues in some of the islands in terms of proper health care. That is the bigger picture. That's part of our mandate. Hospitals that have been promised for Grand Bahama over 10, probably over 20 years.
Those are long term, right? Those are medium or long term.
No, these are long term. But this is important because... No. Go ahead.
Right, because I understand that, trust me, we all know that this is important. Healthcare has gotten, and Reece Shipman will confirm this, over the past 4 years, about over $1 billion just in funding, but we haven't seen any real results. So with that statement, when you say, okay, this is the long term, when you come into office, COVID-19 will still be a reality. Yes. So this administration, one of their challenges has been that they've been trying to push the vaccine. That is one of their agenda. Like the main agenda with this to fight COVID-19 is vaccinations, to get people vaccinated so that we can not be filling up the hospitals. Does the BCP have a strategy that will say, okay, for the facilities? And I apologize, Ali, for dropping this on you right now, but I think people want to find that out more than anything. How will BCP, when you walk in, if you win September 16th, COVID doesn't go away. You don't get a victory lap. You get to work, right? How do you do you have a plan already prepared for what you're going to do tactics-wise, right? Tactically to address COVID-19 when you get in office?
And I agree with you, there will not be a holiday. The BCP expects to govern on day one. Our deputy leader, if I may, is Cornelius McKinney. He is really our finance man, a man responsible for economics, responsible for how we handle that budget. He can see through the money and what we have to do. I think a big part of what you've said about, in terms of what Reece said, in regards to over the $1 billion that has been handed to the PHE and the hospital, had to been mismanaged to some degree, to a great degree, if we have the crisis that we have regarding infrastructure. Because if the infrastructure was put in place in terms of an extension of a ward here, an extension of a ward here, in preparation for any eventuality, we would not be there. So our deputy leader, Cornelius McKinney, who is running in Andros, he handles the money and he will actually commit the kind of funding to what needs to happen regarding immediate plans to extend, make space for additional beds. But regarding COVID-19, and we've been talking about this from the very beginning, some media would not cover it, but the Bahamas Constitution Party has to explore all alternatives to keeping the Bahamian people safe. And so part of our immediate steps as we go, and I don't have the list in front of me, I'm just going based on our knowledge, of some of the immediate steps is to use all of the alternatives outside of vaccines to bring health to the Bahamian people. We know about ivermectin, we know about the protocol when it comes to multivitamins and D and zinc and hydrochloroquine. All of these are medications. There are some medications out of Cuba that we determine provides inhibitions or inhibitors to the COVID-19. So all of these alternative measures will be brought to bear because we have recommended them to the Minister of Health, to the Prime Minister's office since March of last year. And so we will bring them to the table again. If people want vaccines, They can take vaccines. It will be available, but this is not the push on the primary agenda of Obama's Constitution Party government. We believe that people should have an alternative to the vaccine in the nation.
So let me ask this, Ali. Let me ask this. So one of your plans then, because that, I won't lie, it took a long time just to get to that one. So one of your plans is that you're going to look at alternatives, right? Alternative medicine. So that's one of your one there. Now, you know, because you're mentioning hospitals and all of that good stuff, that costs money. Obviously, you need time to get to that because you got to view the budget. Is there anything else in the point process with healthcare? That's one. Alternative medicines, any 2 or 3 other things, because of course this is going to be that issue. Like, just
I'm saying this. I mean, you might have missed this particular point. There are people in the hospital that are sick now. And the fact that there are medication that is getting people well right away, like ivermectin and the shot. Now, we hear it's very expensive, but however, if we want to get people out of those hospital beds, we're going to have to do what we have to do to get them well and out of the hospital beds. We're going to have to make the first primary investment on day one to get that medicine in the hospital, and it doesn't matter how costly it is, get it into the bodies of persons to get them healed, to get them home and out of the hospital. Once we remove the crisis of every bed being filled by a sick person, we are going to begin to ease the pressure on the healthcare system. So that is the first investment. The first investment is to get medicine in persons that will heal them now.
And what about the nurses and doctors, Ali? What about the nurses and doctors who are outside? And because you got to get them back to work. The government is having a challenge getting these folks back to work. What is your plan with that?
Well, see, that's part of the investment also is to pay the people on the front line who have been doing the work. Now, we know from last March, many of these nurses, doctors, auxiliary, allied health workers, EMS personnel have been on the front line and have been doing the work. And they've been doing the work and they have gone for 12, 15, 16 hours a day on the job without getting paid in terms of their overtime pay. We must make sure that people are compensated right away for their work. That's the only way to get these people back on the job and begin to hear what their main concerns are to get working conditions in a satisfactory manner for them to feel comfortable that their government is working for them. What is happening is once people feel the trust factor of their leadership has gone out the door, they are going to not trust anything they say. We want them to be able to trust a BCP-led government for the purpose that we are going to hear what you have to say and see how we can fix it based on what you're doing. Now, the people on the front line are the experts as to what is happening. Why are we listening only to the politicians?
But just for the record, you will listen to the experts when they tell you that ivermectin can't really save folk, right? Like, I mean, it's an alternative to make you feel better. It might be a placebo, but y'all gonna make sure listen to the experts and not do fake news kind of things, right? Like
no. The experts, Nahaja, if I may, there is a 2 different narrative when we talk about who are the experts. The fact that the Prime Minister would say several weeks ago that Bush medicine will not work. Clearly, he is talking a different narrative from the people who are saying ivermectin, right? And because he is saying these, because he just wants you to take a vaccine, obviously the 2 narrative has to be evaluated based on its merit. The Bahamas Constitution Party believe it is necessary to look at all of the alternatives. That's why we are not having a Ministry of Health relating to conventional medicine only, but we are having a Ministry of Health and Wellness, that all avenues, all alternatives, all narratives ought to be explored so that whatever happens, people can get the best based on their choice. And that has to happen, and that will happen on day one under BCP government. We have an advisor with the BCP, more than 50 years experience in nursing. And she knows she's been giving us ideas, both with the vaccine and both with how we look at helping persons. So we've got the expert before us who is giving us ideas and giving us consultation on what it is what we should do.
Okay, thank you. Listen, Ali, we're gonna do this again another time. At this point, all I will know is for sure, like what you're mentioning. Okay, fine. We want to know what are the steps, how you're gonna handle this crisis. Where's the money coming from, or you think you can, make the money work? And I appreciate the time. You shared some information there. So we'll see how it goes. Ali McIntosh, don't worry. We got a whole month before election gets called.
Yes, we do.
But, we have all kind of time to talk some more on this. Thank you so much, Ali.
Thank you so much for your time and having me today. It's been a pleasure as always.
All right. Thank you so much, Ali. All right. We got my good friend, C.A. Nuri, joining us. So everybody in Nahaja got issues with the DNA from that time. Nothing new here. Boy, I tell you, these brand new DNAs could talk fool, eh? These brand new DNAs really has vexed me. That's probably why. You know what? I have an issue with the DNA for Drew. Would be these new people, these new set, right? That would be the new set. CA, what's up, buddy? How you doing?
It's good, and it's always good to hear that the DNA is still pulling new members.
They got new members.
Even though you may have issue with them, the goal and the idea is to always bring new people to the fold, and the idea that they have new people to irk you shows that the DNA is still growing and that they are moving from strength to strength, and that's good for democracy. They may be a distant third place, but they are in third place and secure with that, and they are moving forward. So I think that the next election may be for them. So I'm hoping that they can.
You don't think it's this one? You don't think it's this one? You don't think it? Why you gotta do that?
I don't know why you
don't think
such things. I just go quiet. I was trying to let you know that the camera froze and I couldn't speak, but it looked like it didn't work.
No. What about this one? I think this one is a good time. I think this one is a good time. Someone say 2026. Look, this is where it gets interesting. I'm still waiting on my good friend Reese Chipman to join. I know he's been trying to get in, so hopefully we can get him in. But the big news
comes on. I wish Reese good luck. I need $400 that he planned to spend, and I encourage him to run and make sure pay his $400.
How dare you?
How dare I what?
How dare you be so rude?
These strippers and gentlemen, and he did a great job whilst he was in Parliament. Now it's time for him.
Reese Chipman is going to win again. Mostly, Reese Chipman is going to win again.
He's going to win again.
He's going to win again. Reese Chipman is going to be the independent member. I don't know the only independent, because Coalition is a party, so they're not a party. They're not independent. Coalition of Independents.
I must say, Nahaja, your faith could move mountains.
You best believe it.
Yeah, there you go.
You best believe it. You best believe it. Yeah. And I believe that Reese Chipman will definitely be a winner there in Centerville.
He needs the encouragement. I'm just trying to encourage him to run to pay the $400, but you go to the next level, B and C, and I support that. That's your friend.
Listen, he's going to be fine at it. Trust me, he's going to be fine at it. Let's CA, did we speak? Yeah, we spoke briefly yesterday, yes. Right? We spoke briefly yesterday, and today we have an election that's going to be called.
A lot of things have changed in the last 24 hours.
And it is what it is at this point. We are headed in a new space, a new time. CA, and we're waiting on Reese, but before Reese does join us, I want to ask you this. Were you surprised by today's announcement, and what does this mean for us?
I was surprised by today's announcements because I assumed that election would have been next year. I think early next year, a February, March election, and to see that election is called is going to be a snap. I mean, 8 months is not necessarily snapped, but within the next month to prepare. That caught me off guard. That changes things, and I will see where things go. I think this election is going to be based on two men. It's going to be based on the leadership of Hubert Minnis, and it's going to be based on the leadership of Philip Brave Davis. And I think that the pavement populists need to consider who they want to be led by for a post-COVID environment. Yeah. It's going to be a referendum on Hubert Minnis and with all of the stuff he did in terms of going through a pandemic and going through a hurricane versus the ideas and concepts and delivery of Brave Davis on what he plans to do. And this is going to be telling. And it's all about now marketing that strategy and marketing that plan.
Yeah, well, you know what? It's going to be very interesting to see how this goes. This is 1 month. 1 month, 30 days. And I see Reese just
locking
on.
It's going to be an active month. It's going to be
It's going to be an active month.
It's either going to be a 200-meter or a 400-meter dash. There's no time for pausing and getting tired. It's now, everything must come forward.
This is the time to spend the money. Now, everybody, the small gun, and I always feel for small groups, smaller parties, because their money was limited. And we have a call on the line, but I think this is the time you spend it. Caller, thank you for calling on your cell. Welcome to the Hit Back.
Good afternoon. How you doing?
I'm doing well. Thank you so much for calling.
Yes, I just want to contribute to the show, and I always feel like if we, the people, are going to elect somebody to represent the people, I feel like those persons in leadership should meet with the people more often to have the people's best interests at heart, and also references to the vaccine that is being implemented to all the nations of the world, especially the Bahamas. I'm kind of wondering, okay, and if we're going to take something, and Bahamas is really big on bush medicine. I understand where the doctor stands, and she made a comment that stay away from those bush medicines. So I wonder where they get their bush medicine from, to what their medicine that they're wanting to give to the world, so to speak. You understand?
Sorry, say that last question again for me.
I'm kind of wondering if they want us to stay away from the medicine that comes from the green earth, God's green earth. Where are they getting their medicine from? From space?
I don't.
Mars or something?
I tell you, that's a good question.
You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, no, I understand completely.
Because when I examined this COVID so carefully, I flip it backwards, forward. You have Google nearby? You have access to Google nearby? All right. I mean, I would want you to just follow me closely, okay? Because the general leaders of the earth are not doing this the way we're doing it. You understand me? I want you to type COVID backwards into Google, and what do you get?
Well, I don't have time to do all of that. I mean,
I'm just saying to the general public that is under the sound of my voice, if you would type COVID in backwards in Google, you will understand it's Dovik, and Dovik is actually a Hebrew word that means possession of an evil spirit. You understand what I'm saying now? So when someone say they have COVID, they're admitting that they are under the possession of an evil spirit. Okay?
That's you. Okay. All right.
I mean, anybody who has access to Google can prove this right now. So where we fought, where that left us, this leaves the man of God in the church pulpit, who was supposed to be a learned man who can go and dissect these things for us, because the people don't really need a physician. The people need a man of God who could rebuke this spirit out of the human body. You understand where I'm coming from?
My brother, only because we got to go to break. We got to go to break, but thank you so much for calling.
Thank you, and let me let you know who you're speaking with. You're speaking with 007 here, okay?
All right.
And you will be hearing more from me.
All right. Thank you so much. All right. You're listening to the Hit Back with Nahaja, Black Guardian Radio. When we come back, Reese Chipman will be joining us. And y'all pay attention. Dovik. We'll be back right after this.
Prostate cancer. My family didn't know if I was going to live. At Cancer Treatment Centers of America, within days, I got an appointment. They presented me with treatment options, and we set up a robotic prostatectomy. When my scans came back, there are no signs of cancer. They don't see you as a number, they see you as a part of the family. I'm going on with my life. It's a real gift.
Call us at Cancer Treatment Centers of America.
Looking for a roomy SUV that's affordable? Take a look at the new Chevrolet Traverse. It seats up to 8 and is ranked best in class for cargo space. Its spacious interior design offers the latest features to keep you and your family entertained. What's more, you'll get up to a 5-year, 100,000-kilometer factory warranty along with Chevrolet's superior engineering and safety record. So, test drive the new Chevrolet Traverse today at Nahaja Motor Company on Shirley Street, where standards are higher.
This is Guardian Radio 96.9 FM, Nassau, Bahamas.
It's the Hit Back with Nahaja Black. It's the Hit Back with Nahaja Black. It's the Hit Back with Nahaja Black. It's the Hit Back with Nahaja Black.
And we're back. You're listening to the Hit Back with Nahaja Black. Before I get my guest on, Reese Chipman, I want to read this comment. Okay, Nahaja from Switzerland. Listen to what I say. COI, the Coalition of Independence with Lincoln Bain, if the Bahamas doesn't take a chance on real change, the Taliban in Afghanistan will be better than the Bahamas in 10 years. Papa Doc menace is not true. Dead people will vote. KCX told us, the late KCX, rest his soul, told us over a year ago election will be before November. I know Kumalafe, I know Menace, Lincoln Bain is the only answer. Call me on it. First time I vote was 92, Tommy Turnquest. Bahamas, wake up. Forget Papa Doc Menace. If the Bahamas don't, then I guess it was change. All right, folks are ready to go. Ready and rearing up to go. We got my good friend, Reese Chipman. Reese, welcome to the show, my friend.
Yes, thank you very much. Thanks for having me, Nahaja. It's good to see you.
It's good to see you too, my friend.
Yes. So it's a pleasure to be here. It's a pleasure to be, here talking with you after, of course, an election date has been called and the bell has rung. So, let's get to it and educate the public.
Well, you know what? We got a lot of stuff to hit on, Reese. I'm happy that you're here with us. Yesterday, of course, we knew that there was an open parliament session, and all of that kind of took a back seat to announcements and declarations or proclamations. Give us a behind the scenes process, if you can, in 3 minutes or less, of what happened yesterday, and even to what you thought was the motivation behind the proroguing of the House and the then the resolution, a resumption of the House at 2:00. Your thoughts?
Well, first of all, I just wanted to say thank you to the Centerville Re-election Committee to re-elect Reese Chipman for endorsing me to move forward and also ensuring that the community supports this effort. Well, yesterday, of course, the proroguing of the House took place. I was there at 9:45 because, I was moderating the open parliament. I am in support of the open parliament and supportive of the people being connected to the parliament, and that was the purpose, to educate our people. We got there, and of course, I went in to prepare, and the assistant commissioners, about 5 of them, came in and said to myself and the speaker that because of the proroguing of the House, the event in Parliament Square would not be able to move forward. After which the speaker, of course, spoke to them about the Constitution and the law and educated them on his jurisdiction in terms of Speaker of the House and his jurisdiction over the precincts of Parliament, which includes the Parliament Square. So we then, of course, moved forward. So the proroguing of the House, to me, was an effort to prevent this open Parliament. I do believe that after the government would have seen the support that the open Parliament got with regards the people that attended, and of course our listening audience, the millennials, the wives of fishermen, social workers. There were a lot of them out there sharing their stories and asking questions. And so I think even after that became the decision to then, of course, move forward with the dissolution, dissolving the House. And so those are the events of yesterday, which, you know, to me, I thought was an insult. First of all, to me, as a member of parliament who represents more than 5,000 voters and more than 10,000 constituents, it was a slap in the face to them, to say to them that their voices cannot be heard. And also to say to them that, you know, you're really at this stage not really interested in a pragmatic approach to dealing with the pandemic, or even an approach to dealing with the governance system in general. Because at the proroguing of the House, what happened was you got rid of the Select Committee for Natural Resources, which was a very important aspect. You got rid of all of the petitions by the people. There were petitions by the people with regards to natural resources. There was petitions by the people with regards to the land and land possession, land quiet. And so they fell off. Also, there were notices given for a select committee. There was notices given for a select committee to investigate the Derrick Roll issue, select committee to investigate the public-private partnerships. Your reports of the Public Accounts Committee didn't come. The Treasury Report Committee didn't come. Your Statutory Instruments Committee reports didn't come. But yet you prorogued the House. And so it really is a clear indication that the government does not want to be held accountable to the people of Centerville, accountable to the people of Nassau Village, and definitely they don't want to be held accountable to the people of the Bahamas. And so to me, I think, you know, everything is in God's hand. I do not know what God has in store for me in terms of the next government. I just know that I will play a critical role in the education and awareness of our people, so that the two narratives that we deal with, one, a political narrative, and then there is the reality of what it is that's real. And our governments have been very good with the political narratives because they actually have people believing that those things are real.
But what's a political narrative? Give me an idea of a political narrative.
Well, there are many political narratives when it comes down. First of all, they're also dissected in terms of campaigning narratives. And then you have narratives within the government itself. For example, you're saying to us that the hospital is doing well. We got $1 billion to take care of this, that, the next. But the reality is when you go into the hospital, it hasn't been done. And so that is one example. You can talk all you want about how much vaccines have come in, but you are mismanaging the public's affairs, inclusive of vaccine distribution and the discrimination of our mindset. You know, you're discriminating our choices. You know, we have a choice. I mean, you know, there are people that will want to be vaccinated. They are listening to the scientists. And with all, you know, I do appreciate that and encourage that because it's a matter of a choice, but we must be able to continue the education on vaccination so that people feel secure about the choices that they make. And so, yes, there are two sets of narratives, and then in the campaign narratives, you're going to get a lot more in the campaign narratives because not only will they be selling their governance narrative, which we have seen is not the reality, but they will also now be selling untruths or narratives that are not true about people or personalities, just because their ultimate goal is really to just get back into one of those seats in the House of Parliament. And you know what I say about those seats. I don't think they are seats that people just fit into as a glove, but absolutely no changes. I mean, the issues are still the same.
And I'm glad you said that. Okay, let's go to this. You're now running as an independent candidate now. You're an independent member. You went in on the Free National Movement's ticket. and now you are an independent candidate member seeking re-election in the same constituency. What do you think are your chances here, Reese? What is your campaign spiel? How are you seeing your way of winning the hearts and minds of your constituents as an independent member of parliament?
What's most important to me, Nahaja, is that God gave me an opportunity to actually go back to a constituency of which I am from. You know, I lived in Centerville, I grew up in Centerville, you know, and having that opportunity meant that I had to even be more aggressive in terms of showing what I can do to the people that I know. And so my thing, Nahaja, you know, we have had lunch and learn programs within the school where I went to schools almost every other month, teaching the children about our parliamentary process and their rights even as children. We have a dumpster removal program that I've continued annually, year in, day in. It's still continuing. We also have food voucher, rental assistance, sports programs, green spaces. We're on our third green space in Centerville, in the corner of Plantal and Columbus, one in Columbusville that we started, and then of course we have another one we're working on in Mount Royal. These are things that are a part of me, Nahaja, and the people of Centerville have partnered with me to do it. And so the relationship I have with the community of Centerville is one that I'm very proud of. What I intend to do, Nahaja, my record, I think, reflects that I am an advocate for the people. But moving forward, I want to continue my advocacy to change those schools, to have new schools, new facilities for the people in the inner city. Those schools are still the same old schools. Now, Haj, in my track, in Centerville, you know, we have five schools, one of the constituencies with the most public schools. And so, of course, we are faced with, of course, all of the issues that lower income houses may be impacted by, for example, not having enough equipment, school supplies, etc., in order to even learn. My kids, Nahaja, my Centerville kids have been out of school pretty much for a year and a half, and they don't know whether they're going back to school in September.
How do you fix this as an independent? This is one of those, and I'm asking you this, Reese, because this is a challenge I believe that as an independent candidate, you continue to, and many will continue to face, and I think that's why the Coalition of Independents became a party, feeling as if being an independent, technically folks look at it and say, but you don't have any power. You don't have access to funds. You have your 100,000, but your constituency, like you said, is what, 5,000 voters, 10,000 people? No, not 10,000 people. Is it 10,000 people? No, right? 5,000
well,
people.
10,000, considering the person's non-voters as well as families. You are about 10,000 people. Yeah.
Okay. So how are you, the question will be, and I'm sure that's what you get. Like, I mean, listen, we like you, Reese. We like you, Chipman. We think you're a good guy. We know what you did in the House of Assembly. But, you know, there's no force behind you. There's no power of the party that's governing. You know, you don't have that weight to get us into plumbing or help us, mind you, even though they had a prime minister, but we digress. So how do you sell that?
Well, again, Nahaja, that's one of the campaign narratives now that you're hitting on, because that's what they will be telling the people in Centerville. Oh, he's independent, he can't do anything for you. Well, even when you are in the party, you know, I mean, like I said, we had a sitting prime minister there in Centerville. So, and he was in the party. And we could unequivocally say he did nothing for the people of Centerville. And when I say nothing now, I'm not meaning of course, he must have done something, but meaning nothing substantial to change the very lives and the very mindset of the community. And so as an independent, first and foremost, I would have been given a voice for the people. I've been able to represent and educate my people in a truthful way, nonpartisan way, in a way that I think garnered their respect. And for that, I am appreciative. What can I do for them? I can do for them what I'm doing for them now and what I will continue to do for them. I will advocate for them. I will ensure that they have and receive the right message, the truth about it, so that we can move forward with the foundation that we need to move from. You see, one of the issues in Centerville, Nahaja, is the fact that they have been misinformed. They have been miseducated. They have been told that the MP is rich, he is powerful. And really, that's a narrative because they are not. These parties pretty much put in place anyone they believe they can control or throw to the side in any, they use them pretty much. Because if you look at the track record of the candidates on both sides, they have no track record in public service, many of them. Many of them are not in a position, really, outside of Parliament to provide for their community or even to assist. And like I would have said before on this show, Nahaja, you can't give what you don't have. That's why one of the laws say you can't go in bankrupt. You have to be in a position where you have been able to manage your affairs. And one of the problems in the country, let alone the constituency of Centerville, is the mismanagement of the people's affairs. If Centerville as a constituency was given what they deserve, we would have a community changed, transformed, not only physically, but also within our minds. And so I think as an independent, when you look back, so was Alvin Brennan, so was Sir Randall Fox. They were independent, but they had more power at the end of the day than any other member in any one of those parties. And so what I'm advocating, Nahaja, is that it took us 40 years to get into this. And yes, it's going to take a process to get us out. But I'm not going to shortchange the people of Centerville by being a part of parties that don't recognize their value, that don't value them as people. And so I'm not willing to try to find an answer to their narrative about whether being independent is beneficial. Outside of this, Nahaja, I've helped many people, trained thousands of Bahamians in financial services, helped many get jobs, continue to help the people of Centerville to find jobs outside of Centerville, to expose them and their families to what is possible. I've worked on school boards in our constituency for 9 years, 3 years with Donald Davis, changing a mindset. We changed the title from the Ratbats to the Royals. I've worked on C.I. Gibson School Board for 3 years, getting an idea, Nahaja, of what we are dealing with. And thank God he allowed me to get into Parliament to really see the truth. Otherwise, I was living the same narratives, campaign narratives that I was told. And when I got into the House, now there were political narratives. And I refused. I couldn't go any further. I'm not going to say that we have done well with the $1 billion in healthcare, when I know that people are outside in the hallways in tents during a hurricane season. I just can't do that. And so for the benefit of the people of Centerville, being independent for me, because maybe other independents may feel that they're unable to assist. I know that being independent in Centerville will make a huge difference to our community. And that is the contour that I will run on.
Reese Chipman, independent member of Parliament Reese, just for us in our school, going back to school days and understanding what's happened. And I know we're short on time. Let me ask you this. In the process now of a dissolved House, explain for us, the Bahamian people, what does that mean? Are you still a member of Parliament? I know we no longer have a speaker, but are you still a member of Parliament?
Correct, yeah. During the once the House has been dissolved, that's pretty much your place of work as a legislature. but you are still an MP until you are until somebody else replaces you.
Right.
And so there's nobody we are all, what you would say is that we're all equal because we're all candidates now, I suppose. But there's still a level of representation that should take you to the point of someone else being reelected. And so if so dissolving the House, proroguing, first of all, right, just meant, of course, that, the session itself ended. Once you dissolve the House, there's no place to go to work, really.
Yeah.
But of course, we still have, for me, I know, I went to my constituency office today and still saw like dozens of people. However, at this point, we're all candidates and preparing for the general elections of September 16th.
Reese Chipman, thank you so much for the time, my friend. All the best. We got all this time for the election. My God, election is so far away. Only 28 days. So
yes.
I hope we get to chat soon enough again, as the independent. And, of course, I support Reese Chipman. You call me biased. The bias for sure is Reese Chipman for the win in Centerville. I'm biased as heck with Reese.
Thank you very much. Our committee is strong, and we expect to do very well in Centerville because the people have understood that all it took was a matter of educating them and understanding the process. And I think they're now ready to decide on who it is that they want to represent them. And so on behalf of the committee to re-elect myself, also on behalf of the people of Centerville, the elderly, the young, the youth, the millennials, I just wanted to say thank you all very much. And we're looking forward to seeing you on the campaign trail. And yes, Chipman for Centerville, a Bahamas for us.
Thank you so much.
For us. Thank you.
I appreciate you, Reese. You're listening to the Hit Back with Nahaja Black. All right, my good friend. I think Reese Chipman is a keeper by Reese for the win. Reese for the win. I support Reese Chipman. Before everyone else was dollar whining, Reese Chipman was the first one when the prime minister wanted to disparage my good friend's name. I didn't even know Reese yet. I didn't even know him, but now he's my good friend. We go way back now. We go way back. When the prime minister was trying to disparage my good friend Reese's name at the AMMC, Reese was the one to say, "Boo, you better say sorry, or else there will be a lawsuit." Then the prime minister tried to force Reese to say, "No, Reese said, I ain't stepping down. You have to fire me." I think he did resign, though. I think he did. But don't sweat. Then came a vote. Reese said, "No, you ain't going to raise no VAT on my people, my constituents." That was Reese Chipman. And then when Dorian money started to get a little shady, what did Reese do? Gone up in his small little office up in Centerville. Small little office. And said, "I gone." It wasn't voted yet. Everybody tried to talk about Reese. Reese is man. I like my Reese Chipman, yeah? Reese ain't scared. Reese Chipman for Centerville. That's the kind of, what I didn't know Reese before this. I wasn't sure. But now I know for sure. You can't mess that man ain't never scared. I was like, I don't know Mr. Chipman. He won Centerville. Good for him. He beat the prime minister. This man is gangster. Reese Chipman for the win. Don't look at me like that. You know it. You will vote for Reese right now, too. I know you would vote for Reese. You would vote for Reese. Vote for Reese, child. Vote for Reese. Go on. Vote for Reese, Cecil. You make me sick, I can't stand you, baby.
I ain't about to answer you. I'm going to let you run on. And Reese is your friend. I agree that when you have a friend, you support them. So go ahead. Go ahead and finish run on about Reese Chipman. And I shall be quiet in the corner here. He ain't going nowhere. I'm just happy that he given the $400.
Reese Washington. Reese can give about $400. Yes. Reese can win.
Yes.
Reese for the win. I totally go. Reese can give $400 easy. They can raise the price for Reese. And he's still a win. Go on, Reese Chipman. I tell you, don't sleep. Victory. Thank you. Even my people know. Victory.
You're not on me if Reese get his money back.
You cheat. I am not going to a fast food restaurant. I want real. I want us to go. We're going to Dune. But Reese Chipman wins. That's what you get ready. Was you scared now?
I happens. I have an artist paycheck. That ain't gonna happen. That ain't got. You know where we can go? We going to the Fry. We going to the Fry and have a hookup there. I get a discount card for drifters. We go in there. If Reese get his money back,
you can take me nowhere.
I can use my discount card at Drifters for you.
I don't want any of your dry-up discount card. We're going to Dawn restaurant. Over. Is it over? I don't remember where it is. Like, you know what? You went somewhere and you ain't supposed to be there.
Ocean Club.
Thank you. I'm trying to remember if I went over the bridge for that one.
I think you need to take a COVID test for that. They ain't exempting you for getting the vaccine. You got to take that COVID test to go.
I'll take that because you paying. I will take it.
Okay.
Reese Chipman will win Senator. And you know what is the good thing about this? As we move to now elections coming, right? Mm-hmm. What I'm looking for, and you tell me before I tell you what are you looking for, CA? What are you looking for as a voter?
Issues. I wish to speak about issues and community issues, actually. Like for me, I have a choice in Fox Hill. Between Fred Mitchell and John Pinder. I think there's a DNA person someplace there. I am not familiar with his name, but now I'm going to see which one is best for Fox Hill, which one is best for me, which one is best for my community, which one will take their time and come up with new concepts to deal with. And that is my choice. So I'm hoping that constituents challenge their persons who run in their area, ask them, what is it in for me? And it doesn't have to be personal money, but in terms of what ideas or community ideas that you have, and listen to that and hash that out, and call them out on it. Let's talk about COVID. What is your plan for community in COVID? What's your plan in the community for schools? I'm hoping that the constituents push and challenge their contestants inside the area for that.
Yeah. Someone asked who else is running in Centerville. She seems sure, meeting me. I don't know who else running to go. I think Jomo. Who's Jomo? I know the name.
Jomo and the African dude.
Who's the African dude? See, now you go there. Who's the African dude?
Calamari.
Oh, no, that name.
Caligula.
No, it ain't Callisto.
Kamafaki.
Jomo and the African name. Cooley? No.
You see, I said the African name, but you want me to
name, not dude. I don't mean he's a African dude, but still say Reese. No offense to everybody else. They might be great people. Reese for the win.
Yes.
CA, it's a pleasure, buddy. Guess what? We have a long way to go. 30 long days.
Every day will be a campaign day. Every day will be a pushing the envelope day. Every day both senior parties will be pushing the envelope and detailing what they have accomplished. It's going to be, like I said, leadership race. There's going to be a constituency race, and we shall see what happens with that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we're going to see, and I hope that everybody stays tuned. This is Jomo Campbell. What's the other guy?
African, Carlo Quaid.
Stop making up names.
He needs to have just go by his first name and call it that. Go with Joe.
We gotta go. See you later, buddy. You're listening to the Hit Bag with Nahaja Black, Guardian Radio 96.9 FM. Everyone, we are getting ready. Get ready. It is what it is. Special thanks to Reese Chipman, everyone. We'll see you all tomorrow. You're listening to the Hit Bag with Nahaja Black, Guardian Radio 96.9 FM.
With Nahaja Black, it's the Hit Bag with Nahaja Black.